David Schwimmer being led out the door by our 2 police officers. Last shot, people. Last shot.
1013, take 1, A mark.
Action!
Thank you. That was very good.
M4.
Happy? That's a wrap.
Wrap, everyone. That's a wrap. Thank you very much for your amazing work.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That is a wrap on the series. I'd just like to say thank you very much.
Well done, well done.
Well done, Matt.
Well done.
Well, I'm feeling pleased that we're actually the other end of it, because you always think some disaster's going to befall you and you won't make it, but we've made it.
The sound man when you're filming in an airport, it's not the most fun.
That's what I did have
Never saw you lose it.
It's like the worst bit over. Alfred Hitchcock said that filming was that he found filming really boring because he planned it all so perfectly. I've never had that issue.
Very much. Thank you for looking after us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Enjoyed it.
Thank you. I'm going to go and listen to it.
I'm pleased and proud that we've managed to cast aside all the characters that people are familiar with.
With Little Britain, we started on Radio 4, BBC 3, then BBC 2, and then BBC 1. So it really grew. Whereas this time we're starting right in the prime slot, which is Christmas Day at like 9:30 or something. So it's slightly scary.
I don't think can we do something as big as Little Britain, because I think that's completely the wrong way to go around it. Can we do something as big as that? No. Can we do something better than that? Certainly.
Obviously, a lot of people would love to have a success on the scale of Little Britain, but it raised 2 questions, which is how long to go on with that and what to do next. To what extent did you have a strategy about that as Little Britain became more successful?
I don't think we had much of a strategy at all, because I think we were completely taken by surprise. But there was definitely a point where it sort of wasn't our show anymore. It sort of belonged to other people, didn't it? Somehow?
Yes, I think when you're sort of part of a phenomenon like that, it starts to belong to the public. And it wasn't our choice necessarily to be in newspapers every day, because every time there was a story to do with a teenage delinquent, they'd have a picture of Vicky Pollard, and we were very aware that the life of the show was kind of being shortened by its huge exposure. I think if a show is sort of moderately successful, it can go on for a lot longer. So it's not our fault. That ended. No. So yeah, and also I think when you've sent something peaks, that's hard, because once you've peaked, the only way is down.
We felt the time was right to do something new.
Everything is new, you know, every character is new. The setting is all new.
Seeing the makeup and costume come together, seeing some great design work on the show, you know, seeing the posters and the fly-low branding and things like that, and even just down to seeing the lanyards that the characters are wearing and how everybody's... It just really feels like everyone's working together, and to me it's really exciting.
There's something really great about being in a real environment doing something, because, you know, it tells the story in a much more kind of filmic way than necessarily just a sketch.
There's no substitute for being in an airport, is there?
I can't remember ever seeing this. It's a gift. It's a slightly different style, which I think is brave of Matt and Dave, and it'll have enough to do with Little Britain, but have moved it on. So, because it's a huge challenge for Matt and Dave to return, you know, in a relatively short time and do something with big costumes and big characters after Little Britain. It takes a lot of guts, I think, to do that in our TV world. So the stakes are high for them.
When we look in the reference books in the future, it will say the series after Little Britain and Little Britain USA was Come Fly With Me. Was that always going to be the case, or are there 22 abandoned projects in between?
They're not abandoned projects, but there was a period where we just met, didn't we, for 2 or 3 weeks, and every day we kind of just sort of created a new format, didn't we? We just went, oh, what should we think about today? And we just came out with lots and lots and lots of ideas for shows.
We were actually thinking of doing a series of like 6 sort of different half hours.
One idea was to do one in a hotel, but of course as soon as you say hotel you ring alarm bells, because the greatest sitcom ever made was set in a hotel. We had one idea, a couple of actors who had been in some sort of 70s show, together that was now regarded as really un-PC. And they were kind of going around America because they couldn't really get any work. We had a whole list of them.
So we went to the BBC and we had a chat to them, and the one they liked the best was this airport idea. So they gave us some confidence to see that maybe this idea that we thought would be half an hour actually could be a series. There was an environment that most people can relate to. Most people have been to an airport. It felt like you could have a multi-character show, because we were very aware after Little Britain that people liked to see us dress up as lots of different characters, and we didn't necessarily want to commit to just like, oh, we're going to play these 2 characters now for 6 weeks. We kind of thought, can we do another show that's not a sketch show that has lots of characters in it? And so the more we thought about it, the more we thought, oh yeah, this could well work, because you can kind of bring in anyone to an airport, anyone who's, you know, getting on or off a plane or works in an airport. You can depict. So you can depict most kind of people. You want to pick royalty, you can. You want to pick someone who's cleaning a toilet, you can. And we found that in our show. We've got the person who cleans the toilet, and we've got someone who owns an airline.
Here he is, the glamour of filming.
Just keeping cool, but air conditioning unit. I'm a bit hot with this makeup. The thing is, when you do something like this and you go to a lot of trouble, you have to be kind of really sure that it's funny, because otherwise you spend a lot of money, taxpayers' money, on this, and it's just not funny, and it'd be awful.
And a lot of time.
Yeah. So it's weird, but it's, you know, it's all guesswork. You know, you're always just hoping it's funny. There's no guarantee. That's great. It's quite jolly, which I like.
Yeah.
It is quite jolly, isn't it?
Oh, he's optimistic.
Inanely.
To me, Slido is a family, and you are all my children. I know you all by name. Pete, Janet, and my oldest friend, Trainee.
Don't take this the wrong way, because it's going to sound odd, but it's odd to say someone's a revelation when you've known them for 20 years. But honestly, watching David do Omar yesterday and today has been the treat of the week for me, because nobody could have done that better.
What is 18-hour shifts between family? Huh? What is inadequate toilet facilities between family? Huh? What is highly flammable uniforms between family?
Do you become self-conscious in the writing process, thinking, are there catchphrases here? Is that going to be a catchphrase?
People, like, pick up on things, and they repeat them, and that, in a way, sort of makes them catchphrases. I don't know. I mean, there's, like, Moses says, happy flighting. Happy flighting. Whether anyone's ever going to say that.
If you'll pardon the pun.
Let's have a rummage, if you'll pardon the pun.
If you'll pardon the pan, when there isn't a pun there, that's his thing. Mickey and Buster, I took that, he took that, I took that.
I took that.
He took that.
I took that.
I took that.
He took that.
I took that.
I took that.
He took that.
I took that.
There's a few, but there's not...
It doesn't really worry me. It's again one of those things that people always go, well, catchphrases. And you think, yeah, Laura and Hardy had catchphrases. Morgan Weiss had catchphrases. The Simpsons had catchphrases. Dad's Army had catchphrases. I mean, it's not... I don't necessarily see it as a kind of negative thing. It's a way for and that people go and enjoy your work when you're not there.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is a tendency in some sections of the media to sneer at catchphrase comedy, but that is in itself a catchphrase, and we didn't invent the term catchphrase comedy. So
it would clearly have been possible in Come Fly With Me for Lou and Andy to be going on a package holiday, or for some of the characters to turn up. Did you think about that possibility?
we did think initially that we would bring one character over from Little Britain, and that was going to be Carol Beer, who the computer says no woman.
He would have become a check-in.
She would have become a check-in woman, because when we were originally planning to do another series of Little Britain, we thought, we might do some more. We had said, it wouldn't it be great for her to be a check-in woman, didn't we? But we talked about it, and I was very keen. And you were adamant that it should just be new characters, and of course
I felt like
you were
I
right.
just thought it really needs to be another chapter. We really need to close the chapter on Little Britain and start a new one, because I think otherwise people would just see, it's kind of a spin-off from Little Britain.
I want to talk more about the writing process now. So when we get to see it on screen, we will have a character, for the sake of argument, Omar, the airline boss, who hours of makeup and prosthetics, there's an accent there. But when you're writing, to what extent do you decide on look and accent at that stage?
Normally when we write, we are doing the voice of the character. Often both of us are doing it. You know, even characters where we've set who's playing who will still become the character. Both of us will become the character to write the character. So yeah, we sort of think about that. And obviously there's, with that character you mentioned, Omar, there is a satirical part of him in that it's meant to be a bit like Stelios or Muhammad Al-Fayed. So it felt like we knew how he would look, and we had an idea of how he would sound. But we try and just approach it like either of us could play it, and it doesn't really matter. Not worry too much about that, because I think it can, you know, otherwise it becomes, it's my bits and your bits, and it's our bits, because someone has just a bit of a stronger sense of the character, or a stronger sense of how to play the character than the other person.
Like Taj, probably.
Yeah, it's just something I was never going to be Taj, because I can't do that voice.
It's a good look though, isn't it? You get me?
Gonna see.
How does it look? Yeah, it's good though, isn't it? But is that one thing David said is maybe you shouldn't have no hair at all?
I'll tell you what, let's take the wig off when we put the beard off. And then, because wig don't take long to put on, does it?
It's quite dark. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Because it's quite dark though, but then the performance is quite gentle. You get me?
It's hard. Has that been a problem, the fact that...
Well, we
'cause they're
always
working
thought this
in-
character would not have hair, and then I think when we were trying it on, it just looked a bit severe. And then we were going to have big ears, so we thought a hair would be better and a beard, and then to hide the ears, and then. But you know, that's just what happens, isn't it? And you don't know till you get it all on, and with the costume and everything, really how it's going to be. It was nice because it was one of those things where I just sort of felt, I think like David with Moses or Omar, that I could just sort of improvise in that character when we were doing it. I mean, of course, both of us write the character, and David will be there coming up with lines on set as well.
I almost feel like he'd force his Top Gun films on you rather than you asking.
Yeah.
But it just felt like he was alive, for me at any rate.
There's a lot of touching going on. There's a lot of people touching me. There's 3 people touching me, isn't it? 2 of them is not even women. The guy who plays me is Batty, but I'm not Batty. The guy who acts all of me, who's talking now, who's playing me, is Batty, but I'm not Batty. So when they're touching me, man, it's Batty.
Has he tried to touch you, Taj?
Has Matt Lucas tried to touch me? No, because I would not allow it. And he knows that, isn't he?
Question 1, where were you born?
Bradford.
You're right, where were your parents born?
Oh, Sheffield.
Where were their parents originally from?
Pakistan.
Pakistan, we're getting somewhere. So, if there was a cricket match between England and Pakistan, who would you support?
I don't like cricket.
Well, which sports do you like?
BMX.
Anything else?
Oh, cage fighting, man. I love cage fighting, right? There was this wicked thing like I was watching the weekend.
all right.
That voice, that's one of the most extraordinary ones to me. So from the writing process, you knew that he would have that Midland voice.
There's sort of northern, it's kind of Sheffield and Bradford meets
I do, we met
Pakistan.
Prince Nassim.
Prince Nazim Ahmed, isn't it? Because we was on tour though, isn't it? You get me?
And we met Prince Nazim Hamed, didn't we?
In a hotel in Manchester.
Yeah.
And I kept on saying that I was going to beat him up.
His wife came to see our show, and I'm sure this happened that he either texted or phoned me when we were on the way to the theatre just to check that it had no profanity in it because his wife was coming. Which I thought, from a man who like hits people for a living.
Anyway,
It's funny.
I mean, it's still, even if we know Matt's going to play, it's still something that we
Still
just
ours.
completely, collaborate on, and we take a view. We'll look at overall what characters we're doing and just make sure that there's not an imbalance. Like one of us tends to be playing all the female characters or something, because you've got to get a healthy balance and not have you know, for example, if we're writing Little Britain and it's a Marjorie sketch, and I will still sort of become Marjorie to.
Well, I think you've got a clearer vision of her. You tend to lead the writing with the Marjorie sketches anyway, because you've got a.
I'm more naturally cruel.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, that's the way we do it, because we're both, you know, writer-performers, so we tend to write by performing. I mean, that's a good thing. I find it amazing to think that there's some great comedy writers, David Rennick or whatever, who can write on his own, because I think we really benefit from bouncing off each other, acting out scenes as much as possible. And then when we feel we've got something good that's kind of bubbling, then we start to write it down. We don't normally start writing until we feel we've really got something we can play with.
I do the typing. That's me. I tend to
I've got lots of nervous energy, so I need to sort of walk around the whole time.
Or sometimes, because you've got a bad back, sometimes you just lie flat on the floor, don't you? Occasionally.
Well, not that often.
You have done it. I've seen you do it and lift your legs up a bit. There was a period you went through, I'm sure, where you wrote predominantly in your underpants. Do you remember that?
That was in the early days.
In the early days, you'd wear...
The trousers were just very tight. You know what it's like. It's more comfortable to take them off.
I'd quite like to write in my pants. Maybe I'll begin that now. We're probably just about successful enough now to be able to be eccentric and get away with it, aren't we? I've got a feeling I won't actually get on today, because I've got a feeling this is going to take a long sailing. Sailing. Look, you're doing a documentary, you want to see how this show is being made, you watch a man sand. Come on.
Do you ever think, I mean, from having watched it, I don't think you do think about the problems you're setting yourself when you come to record it, but you don't think, God, that's going to be 4 hours in makeup, or that's an accent that's going to be really, really hard to do?
I think when we were conceptualising this show, it was hard in some ways, because we thought, well, we want to do it in the documentary style, but traditionally, comedy shows done in the documentary style have been kind of quite close to life. It's meant realistic as possible. But this was a show where we were going to play 20 characters each, so therefore it was never going to be believable in the same way that, you know, The Office is, you know. So it was something we had to kind of think about as we went on.
Good morning. Good morning. Who needs daylight, eh?
What are they? Are they earlobes?
That's your nose, yeah.
Are they? All right.
How are you?
I'll tell you when I wake up.
Yeah.
What we've got here is Precious. What we normally start off with is with the life cast. We have a fiberglass face of Matt. Then we make a mould of the front of that, which is this part here. That's Precious, and we make it out of fiberglass. We bolt the two together, and then we have a big tube in the back here, and we pour our silicone into the tube, wait for it to set. This is what we end up pulling out of the mould, and that's a silicone appliance, which is kind of the sandwich in between Matt's face and the outside of the mould. We powder it, get rid of all the sort of shine that you've got on there at the moment, and then that's ready to stick on to Matt.
It's slightly disturbing because the transformation, it's like someone wearing a mask. It's quite disturbing, isn't it? It's to do with not being able to see your thoughts and feelings in your face, isn't it, really? But it looks really good. You have this sort of experience as you suddenly think, oh, God, that'd be funny, because you've gone to all this trouble and people have to get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning to put this makeup on you. And then you're starting the day really knackered because, you know, it's only, what, 8:15, and Matt's been in that makeup chair since, I guess, about 5 a.m. So, and he's got to keep his energy going until, you know, 6:30, 7 o'clock tonight. So it's, you know, now here he is.
What costume on?
Oh, that's great.
Good look.
We had coffee, but we don't got none. Where's David Walliams?
Having a piss.
Having a wee-wee, Walliams. David Walliams having a wee-wee. David Walliams having a wee-wee now.
Why do you stop and she starts?
I don't start.
You didn't start.
It's good that he is as well.
Yeah, the ears. You see what they've done? They've put in
Oh, yeah.
earlobes.
Yeah.
We got no coffee.
It's brilliant.
We got none.
I think it's brilliant.
It's good, isn't it?
Is that harder?
I think it is,
in a mask.
Overemphasise. When I was Omar, I was sort of thinking, because he's got to be quite a joyful character, but somehow it slightly deadens your face, so you have to slightly over. You have to make bigger kind of faces, really, to get that across. You have to really smile, you know.
It's like if you put your hands on your face and slightly pull, you feel that all day, yeah. But it's fine, that's for a day, you know. I wouldn't want to live my entire life in prosthetics.
Part of your appeal is that you are playing all the major roles. So Precious, for example, the West Indian lady in the airport, if you hired an actress to play that, it becomes something quite different. It ceases to be.
Listen, if we were the writers of the show and we weren't in the show, or if we just played one character each, and the show was cast, you know, predominantly 90% with other people, then you would hire somebody who was 55 and, you know, black to play that role. But that's not the concept of the show.
I think it's a hard one because there is a pleasure in seeing us dressed up, and there is something pleasurable about sometimes they are outrageous looks. I remember in start of series 3 of Little Britain where I come out as Desiree for the first time. There is just a shock and a gasp of, I can't believe, you know, that you do want that laugh as well, but that's, I think, only a momentary one where you go, oh my word, I can't believe the makeup, you know, or the voice or whatever. But I think the character needs to be funny beyond its racial characteristics, you know. And I think all the characters we've created of different ethnicities, I think they've been comic characters, not specifically to do with their race. Yeah, we play 2 Japanese girls. Not for a moment watching it will anyone think, oh, are they 2 real Japanese girls? I mean, not for a moment.
Well, they will.
But you kind of, well, you just enjoy it, I think, for its own sense of fun.
Can you come up a bit?
Yeah, I can cut more off as well.
No, I like it. I like it. No.
We say we do what we don't.
I got very excited when we were playing the 2 Japanese girls and we came out of makeup and we saw how brilliant the prosthetics were. And so simple, and yet they really transformed how we looked.
It's me, David, in case you don't know.
So I came in to this little room and was looking at myself in the mirror and doing the voice, and that was really exciting. Taking pictures of myself and just trying to think, oh, who's this person and what she got to say.
Have you ever had any qualms at all about blacking or browning up?
We never try and get laughs just from the race itself. That wouldn't be so interesting. Similarly, you know, if I'm doing Marjorie Dawes in Little Britain, it should be funny if a woman's doing it. It shouldn't be funny just because it's a man dressed as a woman.
I think if you're accentuating racial characteristics for laughs, you're on dangerous ground. If you're portraying someone from a different race, it should be okay. You know, because it used to be people would black up, but they would make jokes very much at the expense of black people about their appearance or whatever. And I think that's now gone. And then time passed when sort of no one did it, and now it seems acceptable, you know. And in a sketch show, it's a little different. I'm not sure, you know, if we wouldn't do a whole series about 2 Japanese girls. It would be a bit odd. But I think for a couple of minutes, it's acceptable.
Traditionally, there has been in double acts a physical contrast of some kind, hasn't there? Which you do represent.
Yes, yeah. There's some physical contrast. But
it's fairly mild.
Yeah, but it's useful.
Well done for spotting it.
But it is useful for comedy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's useful to play.
Well, it means we remember who we are, because
Yeah.
otherwise I might think I'm him.
But if we were playing a couple or something, you know, like a married couple, it's sometimes interesting, even though I'm taller, you know, to play the wife or something, it's kind of interesting.
A marriage is all about trust. And unfortunately, Simon, you broke that trust when you had an affair.
This is Simon and Jackie Trent, and Simon is a pilot, and Simon made the error of having a one-night stand about 4 or 5 years ago with a stewardess on an overnight to Glasgow. When he confessed all to Jackie, she gave up her job as a dental hygienist and trained as a pilot so she could accompany her husband on all the flights. So they're stuck together, yes. In a quagmire of unhappiness and mistrust. The original idea was just to have husband and wife pilots. We thought, oh, that's fun. You know, park it over here. I am parking it over there. You know what I mean? Like just squabbling and bickering. Then David comes up with the idea of, well, what if he slept with someone, and that's, you know, and then we realise, oh yeah, you work backwards. You go, okay, so that's why she became a pilot. She's retrained in order to be with him.
He had an affair. He had an affair with one of the stewardesses.
It wasn't even fair, it was just a one-night thing.
Well, that makes it worse.
How does it make it worse?
It just does. I did what any woman would do. I spent 5 years retraining as a pilot, and now I come on all the flights with him. We decided it was the best way forward.
Yeah, you decided it was the best.
Please don't undermine me all the time, Simon.
Sometimes you just
really
hit on something that just has a kind of energy to it and you feel it's successful, and sometimes you struggle and you don't find them. It's particularly harder with a new series because, you know, with Little Britain, especially when you did 250 shows, we can become a character in, you know, 2 seconds, quick change, put on the wig and we're there. Whereas this show, we had to find the characters.
Yeah, I didn't know who they were yet. The only one I knew was Taj, and that was the only character I felt I can really improvise as this character, for better or for worse, and I just felt utterly comfortable playing that character. But even some of the other ones, like Fergal, first time we shot Fergal, we actually filmed it out of order, and the first scene we shot as Fergal was the last scene with Fergal at this awards ceremony, and I really struggled that day. I absolutely didn't know, I couldn't feel it.
I scored 100% in those customer satisfaction forums, okay? I know because I filled in every one myself, all right? I force fed a man nuts. Just do it again, please. Thank you. Good night.
What's got into her?
Gay orange turd.
Can we keep rolling and do it again? I feel like an idiot. Why? Because I just really struggled to get this scene. Really struggled, and just even stopped everything for 5 minutes to go outside and think about it, which is a really diva-ish thing to do. Do you know what I mean? I feel very indulgent doing that, but at the same time, it's like, we're all here, we've set it all up. For the sake of 5 minutes, we'd better stop and do it, because if it's not happening, it's no good, because it's the end of the series. You know, I've just really struggled with how to do it.
Mary, I'm sure you're a nice girl, but there's no way I'm sharing an award with you. Sorry, start again? Sorry.
It's no one's fault. It's not. It's my fault. But it's just one of those things. Sometimes you feel it, sometimes you don't. But just because you feel it doesn't mean you're doing it well. And just because you're not feeling it doesn't mean you're doing it terribly.
Thank you. Good night.
What's got into her?
Gay orange turd.
Can we just do another?
Yeah.
To be honest, David's in makeup having Omar done, but, you know, so he couldn't be here, you know, and that's fine, because that's the way it's scheduled. But if he was here, I'd probably be able to talk to him about it and get that bit of guidance, and he might say, well, actually, that thing you think that isn't good, it actually is fine, and a bit more of this and a bit less of that. So I just feel a bit lost without my other half. I absolutely, you know, you learn those things, don't you? And you know what you've got when it's not there.
I think the problem with doing comedy is that if it's not funny, it has no value. So if you suddenly feel that it's not funny or not right, it's really, really scary, because it just, well, there's no point doing it. So if we start doing a scene, you know, and putting it in front of the crew and they're not enjoying it, laughing, it's really, really hard. And, you know, we've had lots of, if you look through the DVDs of deleted scenes that we've had, you see loads of things that we've done that weren't good. And so it is quite a scary place to find yourself when you don't feel it's working.
I remember when we were doing Little Britain, some deleted scenes. I think me and Matt thought was hilarious when we wrote it. There was this guy who was like, it was a porno. He was into like porno. And we thought it was so funny, and we did it, and it was like so unfunny. And it was like humiliating. I was begging not to do it. I said, look, it's clearly not working, we shouldn't do it. And they was like, oh, no, we put the studio, we put the actors, we've got to do something else. And, you know, it was shit.
So what kind of things would you say to each other? You talk about wanting to be on set for each other. What kind of notes do you give?
There was one scene that I wasn't in where a passenger is trying to fly with an out-of-date passport, and it's a Chinese gentleman who speaks very little English.
Your passport is out of date. Out of date, your passport is.
And David plays Moses, who's trying to help him but isn't really helping him at all. And I was marvelling at what David had done when we were writing, which was try and do this very elaborate mime. I'm glad I was there on the day, in a way, because I was probably getting really on your nerves, but I just kept pushing you to do more and more and more of it.
I don't know, I just, as a suggestion of, like, if you're playing.
All right, it's just...
You're recently married. There are developments in everyone's lives. Does that change the relationship?
Yeah, I guess. It's hard to talk about, really. Does it change it? Yeah. Yeah, what do you think?
I mean, I haven't, said to Matt, can my wife be in the show? So, I mean, that sort of thing is with the beginning of the end. But, I don't know, I mean, your lives change. You go through good times and bad times, and so... But your creative life is something a bit different.
There is this desire for double acts, for there to be tension between them, but the reason for that is that so many double acts have fallen out or have ended up not speaking to each other. We have to address this subject. I know you don't like it, but is there ever bickering?
Yeah. But you see, the thing is, there is bickering, but I think you'd be mistaken if you saw bickering as a sign of distance. You know, bickering is often a sign of intimacy. Two people who never argue, they're the people that are going to have problems eventually. You know, so to actually squabble, but to deal with it, is no bad thing.
The not a sausage needs to come in.
Yeah, it will. I'm just
quick.
distracted. I'm just distracted at the moment. It's all right. I'm finding my way into it. We'll run it a few times.
I don't know. I'm just saying though that.
I understand.
Those puns, because otherwise I'm stopping talking. And
Let's keep running while they set up, because then...
We'll be fine. So, okay.
Okay, but we're rehearsing, and it's all right to give a note when we're rehearsing.
Yeah. But the same note 3 times. It's enough.
I know,
Lots
but
of
then
people wandering around and...
Well, all right, but let's do it somewhere else then. If you can't do it here, we'll do it somewhere else.
I think if you're going to collaborate, you need to sometimes disagree about things, because otherwise there's no point kind of having both of you there. Because if you just agreed on absolutely everything, well, then there's no kind of creative tension. So we're constantly trying to find out what the best thing to do is. And so we don't always agree on that. And so yes, there'll be bits where we might, argue about things. But then you're creatively working with someone, so there's going to be things that you disagree about.
Does it ever get to slam doors, walkouts, and not speaking?
Not really. There's not been many. I mean, we've known each other 20 years. We've probably had a few, but I mean, we're still here. I was best man at his wedding, I've had some great, upsets in my life recently, and David has been there for me, and you just do, I mean, I think anything that we have transcends the odd argument, or, oh, gosh, you're getting on my nerves, well, then you finish the day and you meet up the next day and you find something new to laugh at and you get on with it.
It's an intense relationship when you're working very closely with someone day in and day out. But you just need to be kind of mature about that and not be too worried about the less important things, like, someone being late, or some of the irritations of the way someone coughs, or whatever it is. Because, though, even if you said, yes, we're not working together, going, why? Well, because, Matt, I don't like his cough or something, you know what I mean? It's absolutely ridiculous and petty, isn't it? So you need to be as mature as possible about these things. And you also need to respect that the work is the greater good, so you're working together to create something that is greater than if one of you had done it,
It's probably an impossible area to talk about this, but there is a link between creativity and your private life, in that when you come to do the series, you're noticeably different people from what you were 4 or 5 years ago. But are you conscious of that when writing?
I think something to check is, when you have success, is that you can sometimes have a more privileged life because, you're living in a bigger house and whatever else, and you just got to make sure that you haven't lost touch with what normal people are concerned with.
I know what a pint of milk costs because my butler tells me.
I think you attune yourself to it. It's more that just you lose your anonymity, so people just look at you. I think that's the biggest thing when you become well known, you have to get used to, is people looking at you.
When you first become well known, I think it's all a kind of an up, you know, like you've got a successful program and it's all really exciting and no one really has anything bad to say about you. And then you kind of reach a level of success and then you do something else and then people really start kind of laying into you, and quite personally as well. It's quite extraordinary seeing the outpourings of bile. I mean, when I got married, it was quite nice, and there's the pictures because the photographer's outside, and the vile comments about me and my wife from total strangers. It's extraordinary.
You sometimes feel a little self-conscious because people recognise you from the TV, but you know it's your own fault because you've put yourself on TV. You weren't dragged kicking and screaming to be on TV, and you knew that would happen.
In Little Britain, one of my testicles fell out and I had long nails on and I couldn't do anything. Aaron had to replace the nut, didn't he?
I did, indeed.
What, Aaron?
Pencil, I think it was.
With a pencil? Yeah, with a pencil.
I tried it with a pencil.
Nothing had to do with you. He's very long-suffering, Aaron.
Yeah, good. There is a pleasure in drag acting, which is why it's been such a successful form. But was there a point in your writing and performing relationship when you thought this is going to be one of our things, this is one of the things we do?
Not really. I think we were worried we were just doing too much of it, but it's just seemingly that somehow we found those voices, female characters, well, and we were just writing what we thought were lots of funny female characters, and actually we were kind of worried, especially with Little Britain, that we were like seemingly unable to depict straight male characters.
Today's a rarity because you're playing a man who's not gay.
Yeah, it's a first. It's something that I've been doing some research as. I've been doing heterosexual walking like this. This is how heterosexuals walk, apparently. Like that.
What's your normal walk?
Our comic energy is more directed in that way. We're obviously better at finding that. I mean, you know, there are other comics that might be great at playing something like, you know, a rugby player or something like that. It's just not something we would really do so well.
Also, you write what you know, and you know, I grew up. For much of my upbringing, I lived just with me and my mum, and was surrounded by her friends, and those are the voices you hear, aren't they? You know, you grew close with your mum, you have an older sister, those are the voices you hear.
Yeah.
Don't we look so alike?
Well, that's a bit scary. Somebody came up to me yesterday, I went to this golden wedding, and she said, I don't know you. And she said, I hope you don't mind me saying. And she said, you and your son are so much alike.
What, just alike as people?
Well, obviously alike facially. I mean, she didn't know me, she doesn't know you, but
You were dressed as Emily Howard at the time, weren't you?
I was. I did put my best frock on to go to this party yesterday.
My mum is a big Cliff Richard fan. She loves Cliff, is a big Cliff Richard fan, yeah. She absolutely loves Cliff Richard, right? And you've been following Cliff ever since 50 years, really. But the first time she met him, 'cause she's met him a few times, he was 17, was he? And you were 13?
The radio show at Earl's Court.
And she was waiting for Larry Adler to come, the harmonica player, Larry Adler, to make a personal appearance. And they announced, Larry Adler's unwell, and we've got this young star coming. And Cliff Richard, this spotty 16-year-old, turned up, didn't he?
Yeah.
And what did you think of Sod
So
that?
my mother said, well, get his autograph, he might be famous one day. I said, him? I said, he's all spotty, he'll never be famous.
Yeah, and that was it. You didn't bother, did you?
That was it. I never bothered. But
Yeah.
I don't think I got it then. I have since.
She's met him a couple of times since, right? And had photos. And every Christmas, part of her Christmas present, Hanukkah present, I should say, is I get her a Cliff Richard calendar. True, it's in the kitchen, isn't it?
It is.
In fact, you got two this year.
Two. I got one
The
at
same.
work and one in the kitchen.
So you got, yeah.
And every month, when I turn it over, I swoon at the picture.
She likes him.
You mentioned the number of gay characters you played. Is that the backstory of these characters? Do you formally discuss that when you're writing? Do you say this character is gay, or does it just become apparent?
I think we assume they're gay. Gay unless proven otherwise, isn't it? Isn't that the law in this country? It is when it comes to writing our characters.
Yeah. Certainly there's lots of our characters who are quite cruel. There's things, probably behaviour we wouldn't actually want to do ourselves, but somehow there's a little part of us that wants to get that out. I think it's a weird one when you create characters, because you are actually revealing something of yourself, you know, in an interesting way, because you are, in a way, because you're disguising yourself, you're able to do things that you might actually want to do, but you couldn't do if you were you, if you know what I mean. Well, I went on Top Gear. I'm waiting backstage to go on the show, and the producer says, "Oh, Jeremy's just going to touch on the gayometer thing in the sun with you." Oh, fine, you can ask me what else. He's just going to touch on it. Oh, fine. So I walk on the stage and he goes, "Right, are you gay?" And I go, "Well, who's asking?" He went, "I am." I said, "Well, I wouldn't have sex with you." He goes, "Well, you're definitely not gay then."
And the cross-dressing, I mean, as we found out from your seminal children's book, The Boy in a Dress, that is an aspect of your character.
What, me?
You enjoy dressing up, don't you?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, it's enjoyable. I haven't enjoyed it so much recently. It's fun to see yourself transformed, and I suppose if you're a man, that's like one of the biggest transformations you can do is become a woman.
Would you ever wear it around the house?
No.
No.
No, now, obviously I'm married, my wife has also got a wardrobe full of really beautiful clothes, but unfortunately they're all too big for me.
And do you ever have that famous thing of I mean, Ian McKellen, when he played Widow Twankey, said he thought he looked like his sister, but do you have that thing of I look like my mother or my auntie? Or
You always want to, when you dress as a woman, you always hope you look like a beautiful woman. And I never, ever look like a beautiful woman. Yes, you do look like your mum or your auntie or your granny or something, yeah.
Fortunately, my mother is a beautiful woman. Yeah, luckily for me. You know there was Brian Adams and there was a singer called Ryan Adams. I wonder if there's now going to be one singer called Jan Adams. And then Anne Adams. And then N Adams would be like Chinese. And then one called Adams. One called just Tams. One called Ams. One called MS, who has multiple sclerosis, very sad. And then one just called S. And then one without a name. And not only am I making stupid jokes like that, I'm doing them while a woman has scissors right by my throat.
Because we were following the success of Little Britain, where we did cover a lot of ground, sometimes in Come Fly With Me, we were going, oh, we can't do that because it's a bit similar to this one we've done or that one we've done. So that was we hadn't had to compete with ourselves before. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. With our own past, it was a weird thing.
In a 30-second title sequence, we're talking about introducing between 8 and 12 characters, I'd have thought. You know, it's sort of, Little Britain did that as well as it's going to be done.
It needs to feel contemporary, and it also needs to, well, maybe it ought to take its lead from the sort of title sequences that those shows have.
So really the other thing is to shoot the characters in the style of the show, so it looks like you've picked a clip.
I do like the idea of using the tilt shift lens approach to create an environment.
You do something where you are making the journey through the airport, flipping the pages of a passport, and on each page is a different character.
There is a potential criticism of, well, it looks like Little Britain in an airport.
No, but I think it's the airport. If the airport's is featured as much as they are, I think you'll sort of think.
Yeah. There are plenty of other concepts that you could do.
I just think a really good look at the characters is sensible.
You could do that thing where he's in a crown. It is actually you walking through the terminal.
The idea is that we're going to have it's sort of like Little Britain Plus, I suppose, because we want to have portrait shots to introduce the characters, but we also want to try and get the speed and excitement and thrill of the airport. So what we're hoping to do, we're going to be filming in normal time, David and Matt kind of doing their little posy things that they do, meet the characters. We're going to do them against green screen, then we're going to take the green screen away and do really long time lapses of the airport, so they're at normal speed, but the airport behind them is going through. This is for the background of Matt and David's shot as Melody and Keely. And we don't have any money for extras, so we just got the crew literally putting on a variety of hats. Well, unfortunately, we've only got one hat.
Basically, you shoot the same scene twice. You shoot me at kind of normal speed, and then you shoot exactly the same camera move a lot slower, and then you can put the two images together, so you can have the background moving really quickly and the foreground moving at normal speed, which is quite a nice effect that you might use in something like an advert or a pop video or something like a title sequence. You really wouldn't use it actually in the main body of the piece because it's kind of a bit abstract. You really want to sell the idea in the title, so loads of new characters, me and Matt playing in this setting, and get the sense of scale of an airport.
It was interesting because doing this show, much of this show was shot in a real airport, and there were a plethora of distractions, tannoys, people wandering through your eye line, babies crying, members of the public who were there spotting you, shouting out, "Oi, Little Britain," while you're sort of doing a scene or taking photographs or all sorts, you know, and to really have to really focus and try and concentrate.
Where are you going to have us?
We're going to have you here.
What, on these chairs? So we set sail and we just left the port at Athens when we discovered that all 780 passengers on board the vessel had contracted dysentery.
You had to queue for 40...
Peter, you and I are going to come to blows in a minute. You had to queue for 14 hours to use the toilets. Well, we'd been waiting 13 hours, and it was very nearly our turn, when we heard gunshots and discovered that the boat had been boarded by pirates.
They gathered up all the passengers.
Sorry, I was...
What's the matter?
I just looked at you before the line, which is no good.
Don't worry.
I put my hand up and volunteered Peter. Well, but before Peter had had any chance to...
Where do we do a pickup from?
Just as we thought, well, surely this cruise can't get any worse, we discovered that the cabaret that night was John Barrowman.
That's when I broke down.
With normal Robins, please go to this 17 in Zone B.
I'm sorry. It's so stressful trying to do this amount of dialogue with this amount of distraction. I feel like a prima donna, but it was fucking hard doing it. You need to completely concentrate, you know. I mean, when we're filming something and there's someone in the crew wandering around, it's distracting. When there's 50 people wandering around and babies crying and phones going off and stuff, it's just really, really tough.
Are we still turning? I'll pick it up. I'll just pick it up.
Sorry, I just need to say, it's so much noise. The concentration level required for this it's just insane. I mean, all I can hear is phones ringing, people talking. It's getting to be impossible to get through a take. We have to do it in blocks somewhere.
Right, so we've got to make a decision here, right? Either we do this in blocks or we move and film this piece somewhere else. Because
I did ask, I said, please can it be in places that are quiet? And it's just so distracting. You've got to remember 2 pages of dialogue in a go.
That's when you work. You can't get nobody in the background and nobody in the foreground and it seems otherwise...
No, all right, let's just go. But it's just, honestly, it's just, you cannot believe how hard it is trying to remember all these lines. And you're just hearing phones and people. Okay. We should have put these in somewhere quiet. I mean, really, you could do these in their home. Or in a complaints office, waiting in a complaints office. Because the thing about this is, it's what's important is the performances, because it's telling a story.
One of the things that I found really, really hard was filming in such a public place, because actually when you are filming, weirdly you are a bit vulnerable. Even though you're just doing comedy, you are accessing certain emotions, and you do need to really concentrate. And I'm one of those people who usually thinks what I've done isn't good enough, and I might scold myself, and it's harder when you see loads of people watching you, because you just think, oh, not only have I been crap, but that person over there is filming it on their phone.
We were filming in the arcade, fine. That's one of the reasons we did it here and not Doncaster, because we could use the arcade. All booked, planned. Last night at 7 o'clock they go, you can't have the arcade.
What did they say, why?
Because somebody from the arcade had decided that the scene promoted gambling, which as arcade owners they clearly find offensive. So,
what do you mean? An arcade owner themselves?
Yeah, the people who own the arcade. Having said it was fine for months, because this has been planned for months. Where can we put it? Can we put it here? No, we can't put it there. Can't put it there. Can't put it there. Can't put it there. Can't put it at about 5 locations. And we went, fine, we'll do it in. That was the only place they'd agreed to let us put it. And we just went, there won't be any people, will there? No, don't worry. Completely cooperative. They're going to move all their queue. It's fine. This is a deserted part of the airport where we put 3 fruit machines and film. Why don't you have a little look around you and see?
It's a week of filming at this airport has taught us that this is a way too busy area to be able to shoot this piece of it's quite complex as well. And as you can see, we're just going to be obstructing. Hello, how are you?
Yeah, hello there.
So we've got to find somewhere else to film it. It's always lovely when you've got like a very short space of time to do a scene, you know, but that's just the reality of filming, isn't it? I found it quite difficult to film in such public places, and yet I'm looking forward to seeing the fruits of that labour on screen. I'm looking forward to seeing a comedy show that was filmed in the real space.
There is a desire sometimes, often in the media, for successful people to fail the next time, which I think to some degree you had with Little Britain USA, where there were gleeful reports in certain newspapers about how you'd apparently completely bombed in America, etc. Do you fear that with Come Fly With Me, that there will be some people just sitting there waiting to be disappointed?
I don't fear it, I know it, and I don't care.
Yeah, it could be tricky. And, you know, when things are tricky, everyone gets in a bad mood, sparks fly, and I stab people with this pen. At the moment, we're just waiting.
Oh, you're joking me.
Sorry, guys.
Forgive. Ready? Forgive me. No, you wouldn't have got on to me doing that, would you?
Let's do it. Sound happy? Ready? Okay, stand by the sheet then, please.
We're ready. The public need to see my pale, whale-like flesh.
Action!
Had to get the uniform back. My foster mother always told me that if I didn't make it as a pilot, it was important to have something to fall back on.
The presence of the camera legitimises the strangest of behaviours. If a man thumps another man, he goes to prison. But if it happens on a football pitch, he just misses a game. And similarly, if I walk around in my pants, I get arrested. But if there's a camera to capture it, people laugh.
What, here?
Yeah.
Oh.
We went to the left hut.
Yeah.
And I started walking towards him. Got back on his motorbike, went on the main road. I walked down, his motorbike's parked on the main road. He's in the bushes now.
Oh, man. Did you see a photographer around there?
No, of course I have.
No?
No.
So where is this? Well, it ain't a headline, is it? Oh, there I am. How lovely. What a joy. How lovely for the public of our great country to wake up and look at my muffin top over breakfast. Yeah, gut, no gut. Matt Lucas parades in Speedos and a red wig as he films new comedy Come Fly With Me. The Little Britain star, 36. Very, very, very important to put people's ages in newspapers, isn't it? The Little Britain star provides the belly laughs as he joins a shuttle bus queue in the BBC One show. Matt and David Walliams, 39, considerably older, play check-in girls in another scene being shot at an airport in the southeast. Have to wonder if Matt packed those trunks himself.
I'm just looking at the comment section. And Pewter says no, it's Happy Sacks. And Sean 1986 says these two are about as funny as a sledgehammer between the eyes. So there we are.
Yeah, but you know, a sledgehammer between the eyes. That's probably, in the hands of Rick Mail and Ade Edmondson, would be very funny. Think about that. In a nice way. I'm not bothered what people think. You know, in a kind of. I hope they like it, and if they don't, I'm sure it doesn't ruin anyone's life. We just turn over, don't they?
I think the thing is that there's something like a TV show. The public ultimately decide whether something's successful or not, and if they find it funny, and they'll tune in next week, and if they do that, it'll be successful. And I like the fact that we have now, you know, hopefully created two distinct kind of creative worlds, Little Britain and Come Fly With Me. And if we do more Come Fly With Me, it will kind of, you know, that'll even grow. And you know, it's not really special if you can pull off two successes in your life. If you pull off one, you've done well. If you can pull off two, it's amazing.
A little bit of steam coming up.
I'll probably.
Oh,
thank you for everything you've done.
Oh, you absolutely love. Yeah, fine.
How are you? All right, yeah.
Good, all right.
You're all right, Paul, yeah.
I'm all the better
You're
now.
all right,
A little perk me up.
Yeah.
It's not very physical. It's kind of physical Friday.
Last week and it, Paul, we ain't going to do it now. When are we going to do it, mate? You know what I mean?
Is Monday sorted out?
Yes.
Thank you. You want me to?
I don't know why anyone would turn me down just like this.
For Monday?
Yeah.
No, I'm just looking. We can see from there. Do you want to have a look at? We'll do this later. Thanks, there.
It's funny. I don't know why it's so funny. It's just so random to go visit.
When I've been on this set and looked around and seen the scale of the show, I felt really privileged that something that I've co-written and that I'm in is being rendered so well. You know, there are times when we've arrived on set and the set is grander and more impressive than what we had in our minds when we wrote the scenes. And I think that's partly down to the design team as well as the makeup and costume, because I think they've done something pretty extraordinary.
I think there's something exciting in the moment it's actually put on TV for the first time. They go, now on BBC One, a new series. Let's Come Fly With Me or something. You go, oh, it's about to start. And then after that moment, it's really embarrassing and you want to turn it off.
Would you like to be in films?
No, not at all. No.
Really? Did you ever want to act?
A radio man, really. No. I
Did you ever do acting at all? School play or anything?
Oh yeah, school plays and college.
Who did you play?
I played King Duncan in. I played Kings mainly, actually. Duncan in Macbeth.
So we've mainly been Queens.
Yeah.
So you met Duncan in
Macbeth,
yeah.
the Scottish play. Sorry, David. Henry VIII in A Man for All Seasons.
I thought you were going to say Carry On Henry in A Man for All Seasons. Well, that's good.
Yeah, that was okay.
Well, you can come and be in our show if you like.
Oh, and then the school teacher in Three Sisters, Chekhov.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, that's quite an illustrious CV.
Yeah. Not bad.
Not bad.